Hi everyone, my name is Lilshadoww and today we're going to be going over the best healer build coming from what I learned playing in the closed beta and open beta and what I'm going to be using for launch. So in this video we're going to be going over the pros and cons of this build, what weapons to use, the weapon talents that you should be using, the main attributes, how you gear, PvE and PvP, what gems you should be using eventually, basic healer settings, how to heal with the life staff, and how to use your secondary weapon. Before we move on, I would like to say if you do like the video or find this video helpful, at the end of the video go ahead and hit that like button. I will be making more guides as far as like DPS, tank, also how to heal, and wars and PvP. So if you guys would like to see more content like that from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll move on with the video. So with the intro out of the way, let's get started. To start off, there are some pros and cons that you need to know. Pros, you're going to have huge thick heals. You're going to have huge healing output, not only to keep yourself alive, but to keep your team up as well. You're also going to be super tanky with teams running one healer mainly. It is important for you not to die. If you die, your team will also die as well eventually. I can't stress it enough how important it is to be tanky as a healer, especially in wars as well. Another pro is you are ranged. So in most MMOs, being ranged has huge benefits as you are able to skip boss mechanics from being far away from the boss and avoiding any kind of melee swings or anything like that. You're also going to do pretty big damage with your life staff if you're going full focus, which you will. You're also super strong in PvP, and you provide 2 different rends for your team to do more damage to the target or targets that you're fighting. And there's only one con. You are not as mobile as someone wearing light armor, but you won't get folded in situations where you would get hit by an ability or take damage from any of the ads that you aggroed when you were healing everyone. But yeah, not too many cons. Healers are pretty strong in this game, so hopefully you have fun. Now let's go over what weapons as well as what talents and skills you want to use if you want to be a healer. A side note, in New World, there are no classes. Your weapons and attributes determine your playstyle and role. For our main weapon, we're going to be using a life staff. Life staff enables healing to yourself and others. As you level up, you're going to be able to heal. You won't be able to heal right off the bat. You need some points into it. So I'm going to be walking you through what talents to select as you level up your weapon. First off, we're going to be going over Absolved. Light and heavy attacks no longer take mana. This is huge. This will also help you do DPS when you don't need to heal without losing any mana. Next, we're going to be going over and grabbing our first skill, Sacred Ground. It puts an area on the ground that lasts for 15 seconds, and it heals for 20% weapon damage every second. Next, we're going to be going over to the right side. We're going to get Bend Light. After you dodge, your heals are 20% more effective. After that, we're going to get our second skill, Beacon. Beacon shoots out a light projectile that deals 146 weapon damage, so it also does damage to your enemies. But you can also attach it to your teammates so that it heals them as they move around. After that, we're going to be getting Light's Embrace. This is a very strong single target heal. The target is healed for 100% weapon damage plus 30 for each buff on the target. That sounds OP, and it actually is. You can actually full heal from 0, like almost 0, like 1 HP. If you're playing it right, you'll full heal someone or yourself. Next, we're going to be getting Holy Ground, regenerate stamina and mana 100% faster while in Sacred Ground. So if you are trying to conserve mana, try and stand in your healing circle, and you'll be regenerating mana pretty fast. Next, we're going to get Blessed. Allies that are in the circle are healed for 50% more from all healing. So if your allies want to get huge heals, make sure they're standing in there, or you can use your single target or your beacon, and they'll get more heals from that too. Next, we're going to be getting Revitalize. When you hit a light attack, it reduces all of your cooldown by 5%. That's very strong. Your light attacks don't take mana, so next we're going to be getting Intensify. heavy attacks give you increased healing by 10% for 10 seconds, maximum of 3 stacks. So total 30%. It's pretty strong. After that, we're getting Blissful Touch. Light attacks now heal targets for 20% weapon damage when passing through an ally. So this basically, whenever you hit an enemy, it shoots out a little wave of healing. And if allies are close to it, they'll get healed for 20%. You can also shoot the ground in case there's no enemies, and it'll still heal them or yourself. After that, we're going to be getting Sacred Protection. While holding a life staff, increases the amount of incoming healing to all friendlies in your group by 5%. Next, we're going to be getting Desperate Seed. When you heal an ally with less than 50% health, your cooldowns are reduced by 10%, and it's on a 5-second cooldown. This is also pretty strong. After that, we're going to be getting Mending Touch. Heavy attacks now remove 1 debuff when passing through an ally. If you charge up a heavy attack and aim it at an ally, they'll get cleansed of any debuffs that they have, 1 at a time. Now we're going to get our ultimate, which is Divine Blessing. Whenever you heal an ally, if their health is below 50%, you heal them for 30% more, which is very, very strong. After that, we're going to get Protector Strength. If you have a buff, heal for 10% more. Next, we're going to be getting Infused Light. Beacon's area of effect is now 50% larger, so that kind of helps with AoE healing. Next, Radiance Blessing. It just lasts 5 seconds longer. We're also going to be getting Protector's Touch. Anytime you use a light and heavy attack, you receive a 50% Fortify for 3 seconds. And Fortify reduces incoming damage, so it's pretty strong as well. And last but not least, Spirits United. Increase mana regeneration for you and your group for 3%. This not only helps you, but it helps your teammates, especially if they're running like Ice Gauntlets or Fire Staves. For our second weapon, we're going to be using the Mighty Warhammer. It's a melee weapon. It costs no mana. Also has a lot of crowd control. Has 1 to 2 rends that causes enemies to take extra damage. And it looks pretty cool. So I definitely recommend using the Warhammer. So let's go ahead and walk you through what talents and skills you should be using on this Warhammer. Alright, so to start off, we're going to be going over Hammer Time. Gain Empower on every heavy attack. Increases attack damage by 20% for 4 seconds. We're going to get Hardened Steel. It adds Grit. Grit causes you to not be staggered when you're in the motion of doing the heavy attack. Also going to grant you 20% extra damage, or damage reduction, sorry. After that, we're going to grab our first skill, Wrecking Ball. This is one of the CC abilities. You strike the ground with the hammer, causing weapon damage and flattening all the enemies in the area. Pretty strong. After that, we're going to be going for Outnumbered. Increased damage absorption by 10%. Makes it a little bit more tanky when there's 2 or more enemies near you. After that, we're going to grab our next ability, which is called Shockwave. It does an AoE Earthquake that deals weapon damage, and it also applies stuns to all impacted targets for 2 seconds. After that, we're going to be going to Safety Measures. On successful hit, players obtain Fortify, granting 10% damage resistance for 4 seconds. Makes you even more tankier. After that, we're going to be going and grabbing Power Through Pain. After taking damage, you deal 35% extra damage. It's pretty strong. Next, Contemption. On targets under 30% HP, increased damage done by heavy attacks by 15%. After that, we're going to grab our last ability, which is called Armor Breaker. Powerful swing that penetrates 35% of the target's armor and deals weapon damage. A 12-second cooldown. We're going to grab Grit to that attack, making it so that we're not able to be staggered. After that, we're going to be getting Lasting Trauma, which adds a rend to any other target's hit, which increases the damage they take. After that, we're going to head over to the right, and whenever you stun them, it causes a weaken as well, decreasing the damage dealt from the target by 10%. Next, we're going to grab Concussive Impact, 50% damage against targets affected by Warhammer debuffs. So whenever you use your Shockwave or your Rend, your Armor Breaker, you're going to be doing 15% more damage to them as long as they have the debuff active. After that, we're going to be getting Torg Crater. Expands your Shockwave to a 4-meter radius. Next, we're going to get Breathing Room. All targets within 1.5 meters of the target are also flattened, which is pretty good for AoE flattening. which is good for AoE CC. After that, we're gonna grab a quick recovery. Whenever you do heavy attacks, it reduces the cooldown by 7%. Next, we're also gonna get Prevailing Spirit, retain 35% of the damage dealt as health whenever you use those two abilities. Next, we're gonna grab Epitome of Bonk, increases armor penetration by 10% for all Warhammer standard attacks. And last but not least, we're gonna grab Facilitated Expedition. After hitting a target with an active debuff, obtain Haste, which increases your movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds. It's going to make you move faster around the target or other players whenever you have a debuff on them. Next, let's go over how you should be spending your attribute points as you level up. So since you are using the life staff, the damage and healing scales off of your focus attribute. You will want to dump everything into focus. Does not matter if you go over 300, as you'll keep getting benefits, just not as noticeable due to diminishing returns. Every 50 points you put in, you'll get a benefit for it. For 50, you'll get a 10% mana regen. For 100, you'll get plus 20 added to your mana pool. For 150, your healing will be increased by 20%, which is pretty huge. For 200, you'll get a 20% increase to your buffs that you cast. For 250, you'll get 20 mana back after every kill. And for 300, you'll get 200% mana regen after hitting 0 mana. So that's about it for your attribute points. As you can see, I do have 65 con. It's because all of it comes from my gear, which we are going to be going over next. At 50 con, your healing potions will be 20% stronger. And at 100 con, your health will be increased by 10% based on your physical armor. You'll be able to reach this by eating the 40 con food by either making it or buying it from the auction house. Next, we're going to be going over what gear, stats, and perks you should be looking out for on gear. Each piece of gear is classified as light, medium, or heavy. For this build, we will be going full heavy to get the most tanking as possible. For each armor piece, you're going to want full focus or high focus plus constitution. Full focus on a piece of armor is kind of rare. We just usually go for the high focus and constitution. For the best perks you should be looking out for, on the life staff, you want Blessed and Refreshing Move. Blessed increases your healing by 28%, and Refreshing Move reduces the cooldowns every time you use a light attack. On the hammer, the most important one is Sundering Shockwave. Whenever you use that ability, it adds a rend to all the targets hit by it. For perks on your gear, you definitely want Luck on every single piece, as well as either Sundering Shockwave if you don't have it on your hammer. You also want to look out for Refreshing Divine Embrace and Fortifying Sacred Ground. Using Refreshing Divine Embrace causes your Divine Embrace to be reduced by 46% if you cast it on a target below 50%. Fortifying Sacred Ground adds Fortify buff to your allies that are standing in it. For perks on your jewelry, the most important one you want is Luck and Sacred. Sacred increases your healing by 8.5%, which is a big plus since you are a healer, right? As far as gems on your life staff, you're going to want Pristine Diamond. Doesn't matter what tier, of course, the higher tier the better, but it increases your healing by 15% and also your damage while at full health. For the gem on your hammer, you're going to want an Amber Gem. An Amber Gem converts 50% of your damage to nature, and it scales the damage based off how much focus you have. So that's the reason that we don't put any points into strength. For gems on your gear, you're going to want a Brilliant Pearl or any other tier, as long as it's your highest that you can get. It increases your luck when looting items from chests and monsters. The more luck, the better. And if you can't put that gem in there, then I suggest any of the ones below. That increases your physical and elemental resistance, or either or. Next, we're going to be going over the healer settings real quick. Everything is pretty much default except for one. The one you're going to want to change is Targeted Healing Group Mode. Make sure you turn that off. That will help you heal other people outside of your group during wars or outside engagements. Everything else is perfectly fine. Alright, well, with all that out of the way, we're going to be moving to the most important part, which is how to heal using the life staff. And what your rotation should be like, as well as how to use the hammer during your healing rotation. To start off, you're going to charge up 3 heavy attacks to increase your intensify stacks. After that, you're going to dodge, which is going to give you a 5-second buff for increased healing. You need to make sure you dodge every 5 seconds. Place your sacred ground on any target that needs area of effect or increased healing. Shoot your beacon out on the enemy or an ally or the ground whenever it's up. Use your Light's Embrace heal to heal anyone that is low HP to bring them back up to full. And after that, you want to use 1 heavy attack to refresh your intensify stacks every 10 seconds. And just repeat. Just make sure you keep dodging for your sacred ground, your beacon of lights, Light Embrace anyone that's low. And if you do somehow lose your stacks of intensify, just go ahead and start from the top again. As far as your Warhammer, make sure you double rend the target or targets whenever the abilities are available, and no one needs healing. Alright, well that's it for me guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry it was a little bit long, there's a lot to talk about in New World. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video, and for future New World content. I will be making more guides on how to heal Lazarus or Genesis, and also how to heal in wars, so stay tuned. If you guys have any questions about anything, ask them in the comments below, or ask me live on Twitch, or you can also hop in my Discord and DM me there too. Links to all my socials will be in the description below. Bye. Let's go, dude. Where's the chest?